What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Chopper channel. And today we're talking college football prize picks ahead of week 11. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. We're brought to you by PrizePicks. They have a first match deposit bonus for new users of $100. They're also giving you 1 free month of Stochastic Plus. That means you can use all our tools, sports betting tools, player projection tools to cross-reference directly with PrizePicks, who has all kinds of sports, NBA, NFL, all the major sports, as well as a ton of niche action. Take advantage by clicking the link in the video description below. You must be 21 or older to play. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, we'll bring you over to PrizePicks right now. We are going to start with perhaps the scariest fade of all time. I'm going under on Ollie Gordon's 149 rushing yard prop. Yes, I'm defying the odds. I'm going against the wagon Ollie Gordon. Before you destroy my credibility, this game is a 2.5-point spread in favor of Oklahoma State. The total in the game is 65.5. Yes, UCF has a weakness on the ground. Yes, Ollie Gordon has an absurd workload. He's averaging 136 yards per game. But he is the engine of the offense. UCF knows this. You stop Ollie Gordon, that's your best chance to beating Oklahoma State. At the end of the day, this comes down to a projection number for me. We have a vast projection on Ollie Gordon. And to get to this 149-yard mark, we have to go even further. So right now he projects at 120 yards for us. And I mean, it's difficult. This is a difficult fade, but there's just no way we can get him up to 149. This would require an outlier performance from Ollie Gordon, and he's put up outlier performance after outlier performance. The guy has 1,200 yards rushing already this year. Just an absurd workload for Ollie Gordon. But there's tons of paths to this failing. UCF getting up in this game. OK State having to run the ball. They've run absurdly hot covering spreads and beating teams so far this year. What if something happens and they get down in this game? What if Ollie Gordon sustains an injury? I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. And then what if there's just a less efficient outcome than the crazy efficiency Ollie Gordon's been running with so far? So it's a projection play, but one we're going to kick the card off with. I don't think I've ever seen a rushing number this high. Getting to some that might be more palatable. So, I mean, if you want to replace this, I'll add a sixth one because I understand the fate of Ollie Gordon is tough. So we'll talk about maybe an additional one you can play instead if you'd like. Next one up, we have over Luke Grimm, 31.5 receiving yards. So this one should be a little bit more palatable. Kansas plays Texas Tech. The spread's 3.5. The total 62, so expecting another up and down game. Luke Grimm is a full-time receiver in this offense. He's coming off a 7-target game. He participates in nearly every single route. PrizePicks just parked his prop basically at his season average, which is 33 yards per game. And I think they didn't consider the fact that Luke Grimm began the year injured, and now he's worked his way into a full-time route share. Not to mention, they don't have Trevor Wilson. That might not sound like a big deal, but they've been rotating receivers a fair amount, and Trevor Wilson's been one of the main players that's come on the field. He hasn't been playing for Kansas. That narrows the receiving distribution for this team, and it puts the Luke Grimm projection up north of 46 yards. In a game environment that should be up and down with a massive 62 total, we'll take the over on Luke Grimm. Next one, we'll go over on Jacob Cowing's 53.5 receiving yards. Receiver for Arizona. This one should be a no-brainer. Arizona's playing Colorado. They're a 10-point favorite. The Colorado defense is absolutely atrocious. Arizona has a 53.5% pass rate. Noah Fafita has been very efficient under center. And Jacob Cowing's averaging 10 targets per game in his last 4. He's also averaging 10.1 on the season. Not to mention 59 receiving yards per game. Maybe we just see better efficiency from Arizona against one of the weaker teams and weaker defenses they faced this year. Well, they don't even have his prop at his season average. Also playing on every single route, he really just has to contend with Ted McMillan. This is another one that seems like a no-brainer to me towards the over. In that same Oklahoma State game, we're going to go to Rashad Owens, whether the injuries sustain or not in this Oklahoma State offense, because they've been down a number of receivers. This is still a prop I like. When you look at the receiving room before and after the injuries, Rashad Owens was largely unaffected. The players that have been out are Jaden Bray, Blaine Green, Talon Shetron, and then Dazon Stribling's been out for the year. But here are the target numbers for Rashad Owens over the last 4 games: 12, 9, 7, and 15. Whether or not Bray, Green, and Shetron play, we've seen absurd target numbers for Rashad Owens. We actually have his projection north of 75, giving us quite a bit of value towards the over. Last one here is going to be Trey Harris for Ole Miss. Perhaps the toughest game Ole Miss will play all year, which is saying a lot considering they play in the SEC West. But they're going to be facing Georgia. By no means is this an easy matchup. The total is 58. The spread is 10.5, giving Ole Miss a reasonable 24-point implied team total. This is another spot where we're just targeting an absolute alpha receiver. Targets over the last 3 games are 7, 8, and 14. With this volume, Trey Harris should be able to eclipse this mark. He's participating in every single route for this team. 66.5 yards is a completely reasonable number. Maybe not the most efficient compared to some of the other ones we're betting, but still a worthwhile addition to this card. And again, we'll give you one instead of Ollie Gordon if you'd like. The last one that I see a lot of value on is Drake May's overpassing 252 yards. Relatively difficult matchup against Duke, but Duke's down a lot of players, including their best corner, which I haven't heard talked about a lot, Miles Jones. He's also the best defender. They've also been down Dorian Mossy, one of their better linebackers. This Duke defense has also benefited from playing a slew of quarterbacks that aren't exactly that impressive. Sam Hartman, he's been fine, but the Notre Dame offense is what it is. They're slow and run heavy, still 7.4 yards per attempt. They face MJ Morris. They faced Jordan Travis and allowed 268 yards. Jack Plummer in a game that was a complete disaster. And then Wake Forest's Mitch Griffiths. Perhaps the most difficult quarterback they face all year. I personally think so, and by a wide margin. With the injuries on the Duke defense, I think this is enough to get Drake May over the prop. I'm going to end up playing these, but for the official play, I'm going to take this Drake May and put Ollie Gordon back in. That is my preferred one, but understand the reservations if you have them. A lot of cool things you could do on PrizePicks. If you go down to 4, you have the option between the power play and the flex play. Flex play offers insurance, if you will, where you don't necessarily have to get them all correct. You can see how it operates here. The power play gives you a chance for a better payout, but you do need to get them all correct. This will be the official play. Make sure I don't mess up any of these numbers. Looks good. And we will play it. Let me know in the comments what you think of these. Dice me up for Ollie Gordon if you'd like. If you have a question, reach out on Twitter. And we'll be back next week for more PrizePicks. Until then, good luck, everyone. We'll see you next time.